Good morning. So this is a folk tale, and it's called The Tale of Three Trees. And see if you can think while you're listening what three Bible stories we hear in this story. So I'm going to turn it around, just like that. There we go. Once upon a mountaintop, three little trees stood and dreamed of what they wanted to become when they grew up. The first little tree looked up at the stars, twinkling like diamonds above him. "I want to hold treasure," he said. "I want to be covered with gold and filled with precious stones. I will be the most beautiful treasure chest in the world." The second little tree looked out at the small stream trickling by on its way to the ocean. "I want to be a strong sailing ship," he said. "I want to travel mighty waters and carry powerful kings. I will be the strongest ship in the world." The third little tree looked down into the valley below where busy men and busy women worked in a busy town. "I don't want to leave the mountaintop at all," she said. "I want to grow so tall that when people stop to look at me, they will raise their eyes to heaven and think of God. I will be the tallest tree in the world." Years passed. The rains came, the sun shone, and the little trees grew tall. One day, three woodcutters climbed the mountain. The first woodcutter looked at the first tree and said, "This tree is beautiful. It is perfect for me." With a swoop of his shining axe, the tree fell. "Now I shall be made into a beautiful chest," thought the first tree. "I shall hold wonderful treasure." The second woodcutter looked at the second tree and said, "This tree is strong. It is perfect for me." With a swoop of his shining axe, the second tree fell. "Now I shall sail mighty waters," thought the second tree. "I shall be a strong ship fit for kings." The third tree felt her heart sink when the last woodcutter looked her way. She stood straight and tall and pointed bravely to heaven, but the woodcutter never even looked up. "Any kind of tree will do for me," he muttered. With a swoop of his shining axe, the third tree fell. The first tree rejoiced when the woodcutter brought him to a carpenter's shop. But the busy carpenter was not thinking about treasure chests. Instead, his work-worn hands fashioned the tree into a feed box for animals. The once beautiful tree was not covered with gold or filled with treasure. He was coated with sawdust and filled with hay for hungry farm animals. The second tree smiled when the woodcutter took him to a shipyard, but no mighty sailing ships were being made that day. Instead, the once strong tree was hammered and sawed into a simple fishing boat. Too small and too weak to sail an ocean or even a river, he was taken to a little lake. Every day, he brought in loads of dead, smelly fish. The third tree was confused when the woodcutter cut her into strong beams and left her in a lumber yard. What happened? The once tall tree wondered. All I ever wanted to do was stay on the mountaintop and point to God. Many, many days and nights passed. The three trees nearly forgot their dreams. But one night, golden starlight poured over the first tree as a young woman placed her newborn baby in the feed box. "I wish I could make a cradle for him," her husband whispered. The mother squeezed his hand and smiled as the starlight shone on the smooth and sturdy wood. "This manger is beautiful," she said. And suddenly, the first tree knew he was holding the greatest treasure in the world. One evening, a tired traveler and his friends crowded into the old fishing boat. The traveler fell asleep as the second tree quietly sailed out into the lake. Soon a thundering and crashing storm arose. The little tree shuddered. He knew he did not have the strength to carry so many passengers safely through the wind and rain. The tired man awakened. He stood up, stretched out his hand, and said, "Peace." The storm stopped as quickly as it had begun. And suddenly, the second tree knew he was carrying the King of heaven and earth. One Friday morning, the third tree was startled when her beams were yanked from the forgotten woodpile. She flinched as she was carried through an angry, jeering crowd. She shuddered when soldiers nailed a man's hands to her. She felt ugly and harsh and cruel. But on Sunday morning, when the sun rose and the earth trembled with joy beneath her, the third tree knew that God's love had changed everything. It had made the first tree beautiful. It had made the second tree strong. And every time people thought of the third tree, they would think of God. That was better than being the tallest tree in the world.
It's awesome to be a tree.
Well, it's not like we have a choice. We're rooted here. I love it too, but I really want to get out there and see what there's to see.
with gold and filled with precious stones. I will be the most beautiful treasure chest ever.
Oh, Annabelle, what a wonderful dream. I believe that someday you will hold great and valuable treasure.
Oh, Annabelle, that is so exciting. Blah, blah, blah. I like you. That's really a big lie. I like you. That's a better dream than that.
Well, as a matter of fact, I do. I want to be a strong sailing ship, travel mighty waters, and carry powerful kings. I will be the strongest sailing ship ever.
It's all good here, folks. I don't want to leave this mountaintop at all. I want to grow so tall that when people stop to look at me, they'll have to raise their eyes to heaven and think of God. I will be the tallest tree ever.
Years passed, the rains came, the sun shone, and the little trees grew tall. One day, 3 woodcutters climbed the mountain.
I'm a woodman and I cut down trees. Big ones, small ones, anything with leaves. A maple tree, an oak tree, anything at all. Bigger they are, harder they fall. How much wood could a woodcutter cut if a woodcutter could cut wood? Huh?
I'm the biggest, baddest lumberjack in town. You've never seen a forest that I can't bring down. I can make a willow weep, I can make a cedar pine. I'm as handy with the hatchet as anyone you'll find. How much wood could a woodcutter cut if a woodcutter could cut wood? Huh?
I keep a daily log of the stories I could tell, of the trees I've discovered and the promise they have held. There's black oak, sassafras, juniper, and birch, mulberry, sycamore, Douglas fir. I'd take them every color, I'd take them every size, but late at night, I wonder when I close my eyes, how much wood does a woodcutter cut if a woodcutter could cut wood? Huh?
This tree is beautiful. It's perfect for me.
Now to be made into a beautiful chest and hold wonderful treasure. This tree is strong. It is perfect for me.
Now should be a strong sailing ship, travel mighty waters, and be a strong ship fit for kings.
Any tree will do for me.
A few years went by. Things didn't quite turn out like the 3 trees had imagined. Annabelle ended up in an old barn. I gotta tell you, holding feed for animals is a long, long way from holding riches.
Poor Bud. When he woke up in the shipyard, he was so sure his dreams had come true. But he didn't become a mighty ship. Instead, he became a small, simple fishing boat that would never be used for much more than taking fishermen out to sea. He was pretty bummed out, and he was sure that he would never sail with powerful men as he dreamed.
And dear, dear Gabriel, I realize now that he never really wanted to leave the forest. He only dreamed of growing taller and taller, pointing to God. Now he waits alone in the dark, forgotten corner of the lumberyard.
All 3 trees were in for a big surprise, for they failed to realize that no matter how big our dreams, God's plans for us are even bigger.
Many days and nights passed. The 3 trees nearly forgot their dreams.
But one night, golden starlight poured down as a young woman placed her newborn baby in the feed box that Annabelle had become. She realized that she was holding the most valuable treasure in the world.
That baby grew into a man. One evening, he and his friends found themselves in the middle of a storm aboard the small, simple fishing boat that Bud had become. The man stretched out his hand and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." Bud knew that he had been chosen to carry the greatest king of all.